Hello everyone, and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at how to use the distributive property. Just a reminder that this is the full lesson version, so we're going to go step by step, look at a bunch of examples. If you want the shorter version, where we just go through the main ideas pretty quickly, I will link that in the description below. Before attempting this lesson, you should already know how to multiply and divide positive and negative numbers, or else have a calculator that can do it for you. If you need a refresher on how to do that, I will link that in the description. So when I say the word distribute, I have some pictures here. To distribute just means to, give out, right? Here you have, you're at a table giving out some rolls or handing out flyers on the street. Okay, distribute just means to hand out, to give out, and to give it out equally. Now, that's how the distributive property works in algebra. Okay, so you have this 2 on the outside, and there's an invisible multiplication symbol, okay, because it's right next to parentheses. When a number is right next to parentheses, it just means multiply. And what it means is we're going to multiply by everything that is in the parentheses. Okay, we're going to distribute. We're going to give the 2 to everything in the parentheses. So let's start with 2 times 6g. Well, 2 times 6g will give me 12g. And then, remember, we distribute to everything. So then we're going to do 2 times 4, which gives us 8. And it's a positive 8, so it's 12g plus 8, and that is it. Okay, that's how you use the distributive property. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it is time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your solutions. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your answers. For the first problem, you should have distributed the 5 and gotten 10f plus 10. For the second problem, let me talk about this one a little bit more. Remember, there's an invisible 1 here. So then you should have done 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2t. And this is the final answer. Okay? So there's an invisible 1. There's a minus sign. The variable has been moved, but still same process. All right, for this problem, it doesn't look like there's a number in the front. Okay, it looks like there's just this negative sign. Well, remember that this is a invisible negative 1. So what we're doing is we're distributing this invisible negative 1 in the parentheses. So we're going to do negative 1 times 4x, which gives us negative 4x. And then we're doing negative 1 times positive 5, which is negative 5. So this is my final answer, negative 4x minus 5. All right, it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first problem, you should have done negative 7 times negative 1, which is positive 7. Then you should have done negative 7 times negative 3j, which is positive 21j. For the second problem, you should have done negative 3 times 8, which is negative 24, and then negative 3 times negative 2h, which is positive 6h. So you got negative 24 plus 6h, final answer. All right, for this problem, you'll notice that the number has been moved, before the number was at the beginning, now it's been moved to the end. So good news is we still follow the same process, which is I'm just going to distribute, right? And let's distribute here first. So we do 2 times 5, which is 10, and then 2 times negative 2s, which is negative 4s. So 10 minus 4s is the final answer. All right, it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we will check your solutions. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your answers. For the first problem, you should have done 2 times negative 2j, which is negative 4j, and 2 times 3, which is positive 6. So your final answer was a negative 4j plus 6. And for the second problem, even though they are, ugly-looking decimals, you just multiply them like regular numbers. Nothing special here. You could use a calculator, do it in your head, do it by hand, but you should have done negative 6.2 times negative 3.4, which gave you positive 21.08g. And then you did negative 6.2 times positive 6, which gave you negative 37.2. And so here is your final answer. And that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.